This land never belonged to any particular nation state. This land, the land of Palestine, the Levant, and if you look at it on the map, which is huge, and you have to, no one does, but you'll see what is now modern-day Israel, and then you'll see to the east of that you have Jordan, and so that area, Lebanon, Syria, right, in the north, the Sinai.
Right. People don't even understand. Those are new nations as well. Like
those were all drawn up at the exact same, except for Egypt. Exactly. Those were all drawn up by Western colonialists at the same time that Palestine was divided by the Western colonialists. Exactly. The Jews didn't colonize that land; it was the other way around.
Right.
So it was all part of the Ottoman Empire. Okay, and at the end of World War I, when the Allies won, the Ottoman Empire was destroyed and defeated and fell apart. Now you had lawless land, right? You had no government, you had no nothing. So what happened? The United Nations, okay, the whole world got together and formed a consensus that this was what we're going to do.
When the United Nations wasn't biased and crazy. This was back literally when it was at its purest.
It was the League of Nations at the time, right? And again, so I like to liken it to the United Nations because that is what people can relate to in current times. But it wasn't the Jews just went there. The world decided this is what's appropriate. Okay, what we're going to do now is we need a government. There's nobody running the show, so the world picked the British government to control and run the area until, everybody can settle in and then figure out what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Right? So there wasn't just the British mandate, there was the French mandate too, which created the land boundaries with Lebanon and Syria, right? And then, of course, we know what happened next. The British controls and rules the area, colonizes the area for 20 years. And then finally, because of their own politics, right, the British did this.
Right.
You want to cut this podcast off? The British did this because they promised the land to both. People don't know that either. They promised the land to the Jews and they promised the land to the Arabs behind their backs. So, of course, both sides are going, so what happened? So, again, it was determined through the partition, right, that Israel was going to get, the Jews were going to get a certain part, the Arabs were going to get a certain part. There would be a mutual exchange of land, a required mutual exchange of some people, because obviously there was friction. There had been a civil war right around that same time before the creation of the State of Israel.
The Jews, there was pogroms, there was pogroms, like there was all this, there's a lot. But go ahead.
Yeah.